Good evening. Good evening. I want to welcome everybody into the Build, Grow, and Leadership Collective for mental health entrepreneurs and other industry leaders. Those who are looking to grow, build their leadership and professional identity, grow their business, and lead like a boss. I am the creator and founder of the Build, Grow, and Leadership Collective, and my name is Dr. Lucretia Dangerfield. I am a licensed professional counselor, a business and leadership consultant for other mental health entrepreneurs and industry leaders who are looking to show up as the leaders that they are in the work that they do. And so tonight, I want to jump on and talk about why leadership is part of expertise building. Because as a leader, you don't only lead yourself, but you have to lead others and you lead organizations. So, why is it important to build your expertise as a leader in your lane? And I want to kind of talk a little bit about that tonight and just share some points that I found to be helpful. And so, number one, if you think about it, excuse me, you have to identify the areas that you want to position yourself as a leader. So, I want you to think about that. Think about, hey, Miss Jackson, how are you this evening? I want you to think about what areas do you want to position yourself as a leader in? As an expert. When you talk about being a leader, you have to talk about being an expert. You have some areas of expertise. And so, like, for instance, one of my areas of expertise is leadership. And I always laugh because that's something that I tend to run from. But I wrote a whole dissertation around leadership in the mental health field, looking at mental health counselors. So that's an area that I research that I love. I love books on leadership. I grow my expertise around leadership, and it's not from a position. Actually, it's from your position of influence and expertise. And in my work, with the work that I do with counselors, whether I am serving as their coach or their supervisor or as a consultant for a business, I am helping to grow and build leaders so that they could show up and be the leaders that they are in their lane. So the first thing you want to do is identify your areas of interest, those places where you want to position yourself as an expert. So if you'll put that in the comments, put down below where you want to position yourself, where you see yourself as being a leader. Put that in the comments. Tell us that you're positioning yourself as a leader in this area or in these areas. So, like I said, one of mine is leadership. The other one is around self care and mental health for Black women. I have a heart and passion for the work around Black women and the disparities that impact us in the mental health field in our professional life and in our personal life. So that's another area that I do reading on, that I share information around. So that's those are two of my areas of expertise that I'm building, that I continue to grow. The next thing you want to do is create content and share your thoughts in those areas. So, say for instance, you're looking at the area that you're interested in. So, say for instance, your area is around helping women to grow in their is self care, helping them to develop areas of self care. And so, what you want to do is share your thoughts around that. And when you're talking about sharing your thoughts around it, it is really being able to take a view and stand on that view. So that view may be opposed to what mainstream America is saying about that area, but you create content and state your thoughts around that area of expertise. You want to be able to show up and share what you think about that and what you found to be true in your journey. Number three is be consistent. Be consistent in your messaging, what you're sharing, and how you're sharing it. So if you have an area and you want to become an expert, be positioned as a leader in that area, you have to be consistent in showing up. And I found that to be true and sometimes as a challenge because when you have so many different things on your plate, it's hard to be consistent. But if you're consistent about sharing your message in in your areas, people will know that that's you, and they will continue to look for you. And then, if you're consistent, that means you're establishing credibility. Credibility is important because people want to know how could you be an expert in that area? What makes you credible? So when you're sharing your thoughts about these subject matters and then you're consistent about it, you're building credibility. People are able to follow your lead. That's what they're doing. They're following your lead in that area. So they're like, hey, this is what she's about. I can follow her lead, and she's credible because she's been consistent. So if you took any classes in your master's program, you remember that's the statistics class, and what was it? It had to be reliable and it had to be credible. So when you had to look at your research, you had to make sure that it was reliable and it was credible. And then the next thing, number five, is stick to your message and be clear about it. What is the message that you want to share? So, most people know that I talk about being a boss. And when I talk about being a boss as a leader, I'm talking about be you and own it. I'm talking about operating in your purpose because I believe that if you operate in your purpose, then you most definitely are aligned in what you're called to do. Then the other piece is share your knowledge, skills, abilities, and practices. Be able to share those with the world and with your people and your tribe. And the last piece is show up and serve others. So it's most definitely you have to do that. So you have to stick to your message and be very clear about it. And then the last piece is put yourself out there. You have to be visible. You have to. People can't follow you if you're hidden in a corner saying, no, I can't let people know that's what I do. Or I'm afraid. You can't do that because you have to show up and let people know. It's about visibility. So, Miss Jackson, you said that you're positioning yourself to provide counseling to Crohn's and colitis populations, most definitely newly diagnosed patients. And I know that that's your area. You have shown up in that area and you show up and you tell people your story. You're connected with other individuals to make that possible. So being able to show up as an expert and a leader in that area, especially when there's not many people talking about it. So you're defining your niche in the mental health field around that. And so thank you for sharing your information and letting people know. So now most definitely people that if you know someone that has been newly diagnosed, connect them to Miss Jackson because that's what our community is about is being able to connect with one another, collaborate, being able to hold each other accountable and for support and community. So before I get off, I want to go over these keys once again. So number one, identify the area that you want to position yourself as a leader and an expert. And I ask people to put that into the comments so that we can know what your lane is, so that we can connect with you when we're looking for someone that has that expertise and to be able to share your information. And the next key number two is create content and share your thoughts. So even if your thoughts goes against mainstream society, when it comes to your area of expertise, share your thoughts because sometimes the most controversial people are the ones that get the information out there. They're most definitely talking. Because I laugh. One of the most controversial people right now is Wendy Williams. She's forever putting some stuff out there, getting herself called to the carpet. But the thing about it is, regardless of how many people call her on the carpet for what she says, we know who she is. So she's building her brand around being a shock jock, like some of the other people that were out there that were creating things. So she does that. She does that well. So you may not be a Wendy Williams, but you want to be out there and you want to stand firm on what your thoughts are about that area, your area of expertise. Number three, be consistent. You have to be consistent. People will be looking for you. So be consistent about sharing the content that you create so that the world can be looking for you in that area so they can know that that's your area of expertise and that you're the leader in that area. The next thing is once you're consistent, number four, you're establishing credibility. If you're consistent, you become credible. People can look for you and they are like, okay, she's credible. She's showing up. She's consistent in what she does. And the information that she shares is true. Number five, stick to your message and be clear about it. So gain some clarity and be clear about your message and stick to it. Share your message so people can know who you are and where you are in your positioning. And number six, last but not least, put yourself out there. Be visible. Show up and let others know that you're out there. Because how are we gonna know so that we can connect with you if you're not showing up and sharing your expertise? So I want to thank everybody. Hey, Kersha, thanks for joining. And then I saw someone, and I think this is Chandra, where she's talking about gambling and finances. That's an area that's untapped that people need to know about because gambling is a thing that's usually done in the dark and then it blows up and people see it. So someone out there helping to provide information around your finances and gambling is important. That is so important for us to know about so we can share these resources with our community. So please put your areas out there and how you're showing up as an expert so that we can connect with you and so we can bring uh, awareness to these areas that are impacting us. And the other thing is, I'm thinking about really, I think this would be really cool. And y'all know I have these ideas that pop up in my head just like now that highlighting and spotlighting each one of you so that we can know more about what you're doing and how you're showing up as an expert and a leader in the group so that we can share it outside the group. So when I reach out to you, you can't say no. You have to say yes, that I'm willing to be spotlighted because we want people to know about what you're doing. That is so important. And so last week I announced that we're doing a giveaway. And the giveaway is that whoever refers the most people to the group, and we have new get new members to join, then at the end of the month you can win a 90-minute intensive with me. The other one is that if who's the person that's the most engaging person within the group until the end of the month, you will win a gift card. So don't forget, ask get people to join if you want that 90-minute intensive where it's around business and brand building, and then art if you want to win the gift card. So we want you to be able to share your expertise. Let us know where you're positioning yourself as an expert and around what subject matter, and then also make sure you're consistent and share what you're doing in the group so that we can support you. So if you have an event coming up, or if you want some followers on your Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn pages, please put that information in the comments so that we can know how to connect with you outside of the group. I hope everybody has a great Tuesday and thank you for showing up and being willing to build, grow, and lead as a mental health entrepreneur and an industry leader. So, good night.